We are still waiting for a definitive result in that very important Senate race in Arkansas tonight. My monitor is over there, which is why I keep looking at it. I'm not being shifty-eyed. Right now with 4% in, 4% of precincts reporting. Blanche Lincoln ahead of Bill Halter in the Arkansas Senate race, 53 to 47%. Again, that's just 4% of precincts in. There's no statistical grounds from which you should extrapolate any final results from that, but we'll keep you posted as those precinct numbers continue to climb. And yes, that Democratic result in Arkansas tonight is very important. But honestly, I got to tell you, the Republican races tonight are spectacular. Can we do some of these? I want to start here in California. Polls will close at 11 p.m. Eastern, while the Democratic candidate, Jerry Brown, Democratic candidate for governor, has basically been able to sit out this round and prep his general election campaign and raise and save his money for that. The race for the Republican nomination for governor in California has turned into one of those scenes where an armored truck gets into a car accident on the freeway and everybody gets out of their cars and panics while it rains $100 bills. Yeah. State Insurance Commissioner Steve Poizner has spent $24 million of his own money so far. $24 million just in the primary. A ton of dough, which is too bad for Mr. Poizner because his opponent has spent about 3 tons of dough. Meg Whitman, former CEO of eBay, has thus far reportedly spent $81 million on this primary, $71 million from her own account, making impressive decisions with that money, like hiring the campaign staff who advised her that this was a good press strategy.
Come on, guys. Let's go. Let's move. Come on. Guys, please clear the room.
Clear the room. That was supposed to be a press event. Clear the room. Get out. The candidate will not speak to you. Thank you for coming to our press event. Meg Whitman also used her considerable fortune to buy a lot of campaign signs, apparently many of which have the word SAC on them. From up close, they say, take SAC back, but from any reasonable distance, they just appear to say SAC, which is supposed to make you want to vote for Meg Whitman. In the Senate race in California, it's Carly Fiorina, a.k.a. the Demon Sheep, spending $6.7 million of the money her former company, HP, gave her to go away to likely defeat lifetime professional reasonable Republican guy Tom Campbell, as well as Tea Party favorite Chuck DeVore, who spent much of his campaign time fighting with Don Henley over Mr. DeVore ripping off Don Henley songs to turn them into jingles against the other candidates. But the Senate race and the governor's race aren't actually the most amazing Republican phenomena in the Golden State today. That honor goes to the contest for the Republican nomination for California Secretary of State. That's the contest in which the winner really, truly, actually, amazingly, I'm not making this up, Lee, might be Orly Tates, the queen of the birthers, the woman trying to lead the quest to have President Obama declared secretly foreign and therefore secretly not really president. After even Tea Party groups had refused earlier in the season to have Orly Tates at their events for fear of looking too crazy, Orly Tates has started to be welcomed by the California GOP. She appeared at a California event 2 days ago with Republicans like Carly Fiorina and Chuck DeVore and Karl Rove and wannabe lifetime professional reasonable Republican guy Norm Coleman of Minnesota. Those Republicans 2 days ago appeared publicly with this Republican.
A number of volunteers have called each and every hospital in Hawaii, and no one had any record of either Obama or his mother ever being hospitalized there.
Orly Tates is running for Secretary of State here in California against former NFL player Damon Dunn. And of course, Orly Tates has filed a lawsuit, challenging his eligibility for office. It is conceivable that Orly Tates might just win. I mean, name recognition does count for something. Plus, she appears first on the ballot, so she wins the too lazy to read all the way down vote. And she's listed on the ballot as an attorney, not as queen of the birthers or dentist. She will also definitely win the votes of all the Republicans in the state who agree with her that the president is secretly foreign or something. Orly Tates could conceivably tonight become the Republican candidate to be the top elections official in the largest state in the country. Oh, yes, the Republican Party is back. Then there's South Carolina. Polls closed about 2 hours ago. We only have partial results so far in the Republican gubernatorial primary. So far, with 70% of precincts reporting Nikki Haley has 49% of the vote against her nearest challenger, Congressman Gresham Barrett, who has 21% of the vote. Obviously, Nikki Haley way out ahead, but she needs to clear 50% in order to avoid a runoff. The third and fourth running candidates in that race at this point are Andre Bauer, the lieutenant governor, with 12% of the vote, and Henry McMaster with 18% of the vote. Now, South Carolina's Republican gubernatorial primary is a race that we have avoided talking about on this show so far because I am easily embarrassed and, frankly, it makes me feel dirty. But that race has now forced its way onto this show because today's the actual primary. We ran, but we could not hide from Election Day. Remember, this is the race to replace Governor Mark Sanford, he of the not safe for work redefinition of hiking the Appalachian Trail. In the revitalized Republican Party, the Republican South Carolina gubernatorial frontrunner is 38-year-old Indian-American Nikki Haley. If elected, she would be the state's first female governor. Now, notoriously, over the last couple of weeks, 2 Republican men have claimed they had extramarital affairs with Nikki Haley, but they offered no real evidence other than their very public accusations. One of Ms. Haley's accusers is a conservative political blogger named Will Folks, who was also Mark Sanford's former spokesman. The other accuser is Lieutenant Governor Andre Bauer's former campaign consultant, a lobbyist named Larry Marchant. Now, of course, there is precedent for the vile, gutter South Carolina Republican primary politics here. After all, this is the same vile gutter that gave us, in George W. Bush versus John McCain in 2000, the infamous campaign flyer saying that John McCain secretly had a black baby. So it's a classy crowd down there, made more so this go-round by Governor Sanford, who graciously came forward to vouch for Nikki Haley's sexual morality. Because Governor Sanford is the guy you'd ask. Vouching may be good enough when it comes to Mark Sanford. For others, may we suggest a polygraph test? Not kidding. Lieutenant Governor Andre Bauer actually took a lie detector test about the Nikki Haley had at least one affair allegations to prove that he wasn't the source of the rumor from his former consultant, Larry Marchant. Now, as for Larry Marchant, the second person to say that he'd done what he should not have done with Nikki Haley, Mr. Marchant also took a polygraph test. I would tell you what the results are, but it doesn't matter. People are taking polygraph tests about the affair accusations. It's... So there's that end of the Republican race for the gubernatorial nomination in South Carolina. And I got to tell you, that's actually the less offensive and disgusting end. Republican State Senator Jake Knotts put himself in the running for Keith's Worst Person in the World Hall of Fame edition when he referred to Nikki Haley as, and I quote, a raghead because her family is Sikh. Senator Knotts said, quote, "We already got one raghead in the White House. We don't need another in the governor's mansion." One moment of full disclosure, when Mark Sanford was missing, first completely and then hiking the Appalachian Trail, then just missing again, we actually tried to book Mr. Knotts on this show. We ultimately had to cancel his appearance because we didn't have time. But even the fact that we planned that at one point makes me feel so dirty. Like I could wash and never be clean. It is a big night in South Carolina and in 11 other states. We'll be tracking all the results as they come in all night until 1 in the morning here on MSNBC. By then, we will know a few more contestants for the November midterms. But as we go through the night, as we track the many inadvertently entertaining races in California and South Carolina and Nevada and elsewhere, compare the reality of those politics to the conventional beltway wisdom that the Republican Party is ascendant, that the Republican Party is a force that can't be stopped this year. Maybe it is. Maybe that's so. But then again, maybe the Republican Party is locked in a battle to the political death with its wackadoodleism within. In either case, this is going to be a very fun political year.